Well, good morning, everybody. It's really nice to see you on this Sunday morning. It's a beautiful morning, so hopefully we can all go for a good walk after you're feeling nice and hungry after you've seen the recipes. I've lived in Boston for 11 years. I've been a member at Temple Emmanuel for 11 years. And it's really nice to be with all of you. I have a professional training in cookery. I've published 3 cookbooks. And as I said to Robin, the things I enjoy doing most is baking and actually entertaining. So what I'm going to, the recipes I'm going to share with you this morning, you've received them already, is a cold heirloom tomato soup. And the other one is an avocado and cucumber soup. Now, we all know heirloom tomatoes. I'm just going to hold one up and show you what they actually look like. I'm sure you're familiar with them. Some of them actually come in darker colors. You can also get them in yellow. And the darker the color, the richer the flavor. Now, heirloom tomatoes are self-pollinated. That's what makes them so expensive. And unfortunately, they only have a shelf life of 1 to 2 days. They are extremely expensive. They run here in Boston at $4 a pound. So last year and the year before, I grew my own, and that was fine. So what I've actually done for today, I have just used regular tomatoes for the soup, and that works equally as well. So don't feel that you have to rush out and buy expensive heirloom tomatoes. Obviously, the flavor is going to be slightly different if you do use heirloom tomatoes. Now, heirloom tomatoes have a very sort of a complex flavor. They have more of a winey flavor than a regular tomato. And they were originally native to South America. And they were brought to the United States by the Spaniards and the British. And that is how we actually inherited the heirloom tomato. So what I've done in advance, if you look at your recipes, I have prepared, you must just tell me, can you see this? You can't. You can't see inside. Oh, I think I must flip let me just flip the camera, Robin. That should, where does one flip the camera? Let me see. If I switch camera. Does that help? Can you see anything now? I don't think so.
The tomato in your background.
I think you have to turn off your background.
If you turn off the background, maybe we'll be able to see it. Thank you, Meryl.
How would you do that?
Do you want me to try and do it for you? I wonder if I could do it for her. Can I do it for her?
I'd be surprised if you can. I think you have to go in your video.
Okay. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I've switched the camera, so I think there you can see it now.
Now we can see it.
Now you can.
I do think that you should turn off your background because it keeps going back and forth to the background.
There you can see it now. Is that okay? You can see how I've actually prepared the. Sorry, let me just get that going. Oh, this is a bit of a. There we go. So that is what the actual sliced tomato looks like with the onion. And then when you cut the tomato, you let me just put now. I'll have to flip it back again, I suppose, right? In order for you to see this, yeah. When you cut the tomato, I just use the entire tomato, the front and the back, and all the pieces with the onion. And then it's important to put, before it goes in the oven, you need to put over some olive oil. Can you see the olive oil? Are you able to see it?
I can't tell there's olive oil on there. Is that but you drizzled it on, is that what you did?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So I drizzled on olive oil and some brown sugar. And then the key to the ingredient is some sherry vinegar.
Mhm.
And then also some Maldon salt.
Do you happen to know how much of each of those?
Yes, I can tell you. So for the amount of tomatoes, you've got the 6 shallots, and you can put over 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and 1.5 tablespoons of the sherry vinegar. Now, sherry vinegar is very different to any other vinegar. The important thing to do with the sherry vinegar is it's produced in Spain, and it's
Can you get rid of your background? It's very disruptive, your background with the 3 women in the back.
yeah, I'm trying to. I just get
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
can't watch it with it. It's very disturbing.
If you go to your
background and filters.
and just take off your filter.
Just say none.
None.
I did.
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yep,
that was
okay.
like
Okay.
really weird.
Oh,
Thank you so
Is
much.
okay, thank you. Thank you.
Is that
Okay.
better?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that-
great. Thank you. And
is
yep.
that-
And could
is
everyone
that
see
better?
Faye? If you want to step back a little, we could see you a little more. Okay,
we
perfect.
go.
Yep. Thank you, Faye. Thank you.
Okay. So sherry vinegar is produced in Spain, and it's not as acidic as balsamic, as white vinegar or red vinegar. The only problem with sherry vinegar, it's not kosher. So if you're using white vinegar or brown vinegar, then you must add a little bit more sugar to the actual ingredients. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to liquidize the soup, and you're welcome to ask me any questions while I'm doing it. Before I liquidize the soup, I'm going to add the cream, the cup of light cream, to a container, because you always add hot to cold. If you don't add the hot to the cold, then the soup will actually curdle. Any questions?
Someone's requesting is requesting you put the camera a little back. So,
Camera a little back. Sure.
My apologies. Is there a written recipe that we can reference that you've put online?
Yes, Robin, that was sent out.
everyone got it, Phyllis. So would
From
you like-
Barbara. Barbara sent it.
out. Yep. Do you want me to forward it to you, or do you
Please,
have
I'm not sure I received it. Thank you so much.
Me as well.
Barbara? Let me make sure I have your, okay.
Me too, Robin.
Okay, why don't you put your, in the chat, put your emails, and I'll do
Okay.
it right now, please. Okay, if you do that, thank you. Put
Is
your-
that better? Are you able to see what I'm doing? It's going to make a loud noise in a minute. And the important thing is to do the shallots and the juices of the tomato with the actual ingredient, in the Magimix.
So are you putting this, so we can't really see what you're putting it into. So are you putting it into a Cuisinart?
Here. What is that, Faye? Is it a Cuisinart? Is it a food processor? can't hear her. Oh, she turned off her audio, I think.
So that's what went into the Magimix. I'm going to do some more. And let me show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. It looks
Faye, what
So-
was that? What did you put it in? Because we couldn't see. What did you put it in?
it was all the ingredients on the recipe, which is the tomato, the shallots, the vinegar, the salt, the olive oil, and the brown sugar. I'll show you all the ingredients again. Are you able to see? Let me see if I flip the camera. Are you able to see? No, you're not able to see that either. Would have been much easier to do this assembly manual. Can you see inside the dish?
Um,
There. Can you see the
we're looking at the,
tomatoes? Can you see,
we're looking at
can
the
you see
tinfoil
the
dish now.
Can you see the unmashed tomato? I'm showing it to you. That is in the foil dish as it comes out of the oven.
So it looks, okay, it looks like a puree.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And then this is what it looks like when it is liquidized in the Magimix.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you as I pour it into the container. Then you should be able to see that as well. Let's move this away.
Terrific.
So in this container, I've got the cream. And you ladies, you don't have to use cream. You can also use milk if you want to reduce the fat content of the soup. I've also made it parov by not including the cream or the milk. And as I mentioned to Robin earlier, before you all came online, you can also do it and serve the soup hot. It warms up very successfully. I'll just show you what this looks like. And if you can see this, no, it's showing something else. I'm going to put it all, I'm going to finish liquidizing it, and then I'll put it into a bowl, and then it will be easier for you to see.
Can I ask you one question? The
Yes, of course.
the olive oil, brown sugar, and sherry vinegar amounts you gave, were those for 12 to 14 tomatoes or? Okay,
12
good.
to 14 tomatoes. So I
Okay.
like using the light olive oil because it's not as rich and it doesn't leave a film on the soup. And then the sherry vinegar I've discussed, and the molten salt crystals are just these little crystals, but you can also just use the salt that you have at home. And then I like using this brown sugar, the sugar in the raw, because it actually doesn't congeal and it doesn't go into a solid lump. And then if you want to add an extra bite to the soup, you're welcome to add some Tabasco sauce or any of these chili flakes.
So one of the emails didn't take, Marcia Novak's, MNOVAK1, did not send. Is that the right email? Sorry to interrupt, Faye, but I just sent everyone the attachment, but I couldn't get it to that email address, so.
Marcia Novak is MNOVAK1
uh-huh.
@comcast.net.
I'll try it again. I didn't.
And the soup lasts very well. It can keep in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. So there's no need for you to even consider freezing it. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Then I'm just going to pop it into the fridge to settle down. And then when we finish the demonstration, then I will serve it in a bowl. And you must obviously do your own tasting adjustments before you serve it. Just want to see if you can see this. Just go back a bit.
Is that okay?
No, you can't see anything there.
Can you move it so we could see? Yeah, if you move the screen.
Can you see?
No,
No.
not. So if you move the screen,
Okay, you know what? Let me
Lift it
take a spoon. I'll show you in a spoon what the consistency looks like. Are you able to see it in a spoon?
lift it higher or tilt it down. Higher, higher. Okay, yep. Could people see it? No, can you do it higher?
I'm just going to put it on something higher. No, the bowl is actually possibly too deep. But you'll be able to see it when I put it into a smaller bowl. Let me do that.
Hey, Faye, do you have it like a, do you have another screen that we could put up? Do we have another one or no? No,
No, I don't.
okay,
I don't have another screen.
no worries, no worries, okay.
Let me see if I hold the iPad higher. Does that make it better? No.
Okay, no worries.
Let me move the iPad back.
Okay.
Oh gosh, it looks so pretty. I want you to see it. Let me see if I put it down. Let me see if I flip the camera.
Yeah, I was gonna
Sorry,
say, why don't you try flipping the camera and then just moving the
I
dish?
have flipped the camera.
Try moving the dish to near where your piece of paper is with the
Yes,
with the
Yes.
recipe.
yes.
Yes. That's what I'm going to do.
Perfect, thank you.
Flipping the camera.
I will send one more email.
And putting it there.
Perfect.
Hey,
Now we
you
can see it. Oh, it's
Now
beautiful.
you can see it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, and it's really yum delish. Obviously it must have like a bit of a salty, tangy taste. The texture at the moment is still fairly runny because I've just taken it and served it straight away. But as it goes into the fridge, it thickens on its own. And then I have some herbs. And you can either just pop a bit of arugula into the soup. There we go. Or you can also just use regular parsley. Okay. Then these are now I must just flip the camera again. These are the shallots that you can actually get them at Whole Foods ready peeled, or you can just buy them in the supermarket where the onions are and then peel them. The reason I use the shallots is they don't have as pungent a taste as the as an onion does. And I find that, you know, often guests will say they don't like eating onion, but this actually doesn't repeat as much as a regular onion. Okay.
How long do you recommend it sit in the refrigerator before serving?
If I'm making the soup for Shabbos, then I prepare it on the Thursday morning. So about 24 hours. But if you are serving it hot, you can make it on the same day and leave it on the stove and then just reheat it. Is that okay, Phyllis? Okay, good. Any other questions before we move on to the avocado soup? Please talk to me. This is rather nerve-wracking with this iPad. I've done many of these demos, but it's always been like in a kitchen with lights and cameras and everybody else doing everything for you. So just bear with me. This is a first, and please ask as many questions as you'd like to.
This is fabulous. Thank you, Faye.
Are you sure? You're fine. Everybody's happy. Can I remove the soup? I wish you could all swing by and have a taste.
I know.
Is anybody having a lunch today? Anybody entertaining guests at home?
No.
No.
Because I'd swing by and gladly bring you the soup. Then just one other tip that I use, you probably saw me using these foil containers, which I get at Costco. Okay, the brown sugar, I saw that. I find it much easier to use these, or if your oven is smaller, you can split the quantity of the tomatoes and use it in the in a smaller container and just do 6 tomatoes and 6 tomatoes. And then at least you can just destroy these and you don't have to wash the containers. One of the ladies asked, what is the quantity of the brown sugar? 1.5 tablespoons. But as I mentioned, if you're going to be using white vinegar and brown vinegar, instead of the sherry vinegar, then you may have to up the quantity of sugar.
And wait, did you repeat how much vinegar and sugar?
Pardon?
Barbara also asked, could you repeat how much vinegar and sherry you use?
Yes, so the amount of it's 2 tablespoons of olive oil, the light olive oil, 2 tablespoons of sherry vinegar, 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar. But if you do not use sherry vinegar, because sherry vinegar is not kosher, so if you're kosher and you're using white or brown vinegar, then you have to up the quantity of the sugar to taste and possibly only add another 1/2 tablespoon. The only vinegar that you should not use is balsamic vinegar. Balsamic vinegar is a completely different composition, and it doesn't have any of the regular ingredients of normal vinegar. So I would recommend, if you're kosher and you cannot use the sherry vinegar, that you should use red wine vinegar or apple vinegar. Apple vinegar is the least rancid, and you'll be able to reduce the amount of sugar that you're going to use. Oh, how much salt? Audrey, the salt, I basically just judge, but definitely no more than a teaspoon. And then also, you know, if you've got one of these goodies, where's my pepper grinder? You can also just add, you know, give a couple of twists of black pepper to it. And then I would not recommend freezing this, because first of all, it's going to be finished before you can even freeze it. And as I mentioned, it keeps so well in the refrigerator that there's absolutely no reason to do so. I'm just going to spend a few minutes cleaning up here and then we'll get going with the next recipe. Just excuse me, I'm going to step away and wash the Magimix. Now I'm going to move on to the avocado soup, and I'll show you a photo of, this is how I presented it in my cookbook, Be My Guest. It was done for a pool party. So there you can see the tomato soup in the background and then the avocado soup in the front. And just for fun, we actually floated it on glass in the swimming pool, and everybody was just swimming around and helping themselves to their own. It also works very successfully to plate the same two soups in a bowl. I'll show you the bowl that I'm using for the avocado soup in a minute, and the texture is very similar. So if you put half and half in the same bowl, it looks very elegant and it combines very well together. Now, the avocados at the moment, I don't know how you're finding them in the stores, but for me, they've been a little bit iffish. So although the recipe calls for 6 avos, I'm actually using about 7 today because they are, some of them were quite bruised when I peeled them. So you can use red onion or shallots again. So I'm adding the shallots to the mixer. I'm also adding 2 English cucumbers, which I've peeled and just cut in half. And I'm going to liquidize those first. A trick, let me just get you another English cucumber and show you. If you want to ensure that an English cucumber is always sweet, once you bought it in the store, you cut off the end and you just rub the one end like that, and then you cut off the other end and you just rub it again. And that ensures that the cucumber will always be sweet. Don't ask me how it works, but it does. And so I'm just going to liquidize this.
So Faye, when you said you could use shallots instead of a red onion, how many shallots?
The amount of onion is 1 small red onion, Marcia. So you can play it by ear, and just depending on the size of them, if the onion was small, I would add about 3.
Thank you.
And some of the shallots are large, Meryl, and then you can just cut them in half and maybe use 1.5. You know, avocado's got a very gentle flavor, so you don't want to overpower it, and so has the cucumber. Just pardon the noise for a moment.
Faye, question after.
And I just want to show you the texture. No, can you see the texture of the cucumber and the onion? It's kind of it's very liquidy. I'll just do this with a.
Faye, can I just ask you again, what were you saying regarding having a sweet, making it sweet? What did you do to the cucumber? What'd you say? I didn't hear that.
Okay, sure. Before you peel the cucumber, or if you're going to use an English cucumber and you're going to slice it, let me just get another one. Because there isn't really a reason, you don't need to always peel an English cucumber, but this recipe calls for it because otherwise the skin is going to have a very dominant texture. So Robin, when you buy it, you just would, this one happens to be a little bit soft. So you cut off a piece, okay? And then you just take the two ends and you do that.
Okay.
You just rub it together. And then you do the same with this side.
Oh, okay.
And you rub it together. And then you can either just slice it with the skin on or take the skin off.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
And then it's very, very nice and sweet.
Wow, that's so interesting. Did you see there was a question here? Is the soup equally delicious using milk instead of cream? Did you answer that? Because I had a
I didn't see the question.
Yeah.
I would say the taste is the same, but it's just it's slightly less rich. But I use the light cream. I don't use the heavy cream. And you know, if you compare milk, full cream milk to light cream, there's actually very little difference in flavor. But I prefer, because I figure that, you know, there's so much liquid and it's only 1 cup of cream to that whole bowl of soup. So, you know, what doesn't kill fattens. So now I'm going to add the, I'm going to cut up the, add the avocado to the, bowl of the food processor. And it's very important that you keep the pips of the soup, because once the soup is made and you put it into a Tupperware or a sealed container, the pips will actually prevent the soup from going black. But obviously just be careful that you don't serve your guests a pip when you're dishing up. And the same works with an avocado. If you are making a salad and you're worried about putting in the avocado before the guests come, you can do it a lot earlier if you just put the pips on top of the salad. So thus far I've added 3 avos and they're all looking good. Any questions?
Are pips pits? What are pips?
Pips.
What are
Pips. The pips.
the pits?
Yes, the pits.
The pips. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And how many English cucumbers did you peel before you processed?
2. And I just peeled them and cut them in half because they were too long to fit into the machine. So it appeared as if there were 4, but there were only 2. So the quantity is 2 cucumbers to 6 avocado. and just use your discretion if you hit a couple of bumps in the road and they're not all that that good. So I'm going to liquidize that.
And Robin, you're going to also email us the avocado soup as well?
It's in that.
It's in the same,
It's
in the same
in one
document.
attachment, but I can also send it.
it's the second page of the document that
Okay,
Robin
I
sent.
haven't opened it yet. Thank you.
Tomato soup can use vegetable broth or chicken soup for meat or veggie. Okay, let me ask that, Marcia. Hold on. Faye, can you hear us? You hear? I'll wait until she could.
You can see it's got a lovely green color, and it's important for us to retain this color. And we'll do so by adding a bit of lemon juice, and then you'll add the pips to the container, and that will keep it from staying green. So I'm just going to pulse it a little bit more because I see that there's still a little bit of red.
So there's a question for the tomato soup, Faye.
Sorry, Robin, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, there's a question. The tomato soup, can you use vegetable broth or chicken soup for meat or veggie lactose-free menu? That's the question from Marcia Novak.
You mean instead of the cream?
Can you use vegetable broth or chicken soup or veggie? I guess.
She must mean the stock instead of the cup of cream.
Yeah.
Most definitely so. Most definitely. I would suggest vegetable or chicken, not meat. You know, not beef broth. Now, when it comes to stock, this is my favorite stock, and it's readily available on Amazon, and it's also readily available at Whole Foods. In Whole Foods, it comes in a glass jar. It's called Vogue, you know, as in the fashion magazine, and it's called Instant Veggie Base. And the most important thing about this is that it is gluten-free, it's got no added MSG, and it's also low sodium. So, and it comes in beef, chicken, and vegetable. I'm always personally a little bit wary about these liters of stock that you can buy. You know, I'll buy the kosher ones, but I'm not so sure about the others. So I'm adding 2 tablespoons. Sorry, I beg your pardon. One tablespoon of the veggie stock to 2 cups of water, and it has to be boiling water. And the lovely thing about this stock is that it just mixes so easily. It's not too salty, and it's the chicken one is particularly good for making chicken soup for Passover. And now I'm going to add the hot stock to this mixture. And if there's a little bit of a, you can see in here, there's a little bit of a residue, you can always just take another drop of boiling water and dissolve the rest. Then I'm going to flavor the soup with some salt. I never really use a spoon, but once again, Marsha, about a teaspoon should be sufficient. But obviously, just taste as you go along. I personally don't cook with a lot of salt. And then the real ingredient that gives this soup the most delicious zing is some curry powder. And I love buying this British curry powder. I think it's got a very unique flavor. And literally when it comes to the curry powder, you just add, you only add a pinch. And that's what into that.
Where do you get that? Where do you get that British curry powder? Any stores?
I ordered this from online from a company called Teeny Tiny Spice, one word. So it's TEENYTINY spice.com. And they make the most delicious spices. They make, I'll show you some of the others.
I'm thinking.
They make a good masala. They also
Yeah, I
make
think you get off
something
at Compton.
called
Go up
an
little
ingredient
further,
called
you come down to
Chinese
the
5
Great
spice,
I'm sorry.
which I love putting on acorn
It's getting-
squash with some maple syrup. It's very nice, and I like the way they package their goods. You know, it's in a secure tin and it keeps very well. So it's the Teeny Tiny Spice
You know what?
Company.
You're that crazy person.
Okay, wait.
Leslie,
Wait,
Leslie,
time
do
out,
me a
time
favor.
out, let's wait. Hold on,
30
please.
miles an hour.
Meryl, I need help with
I will
muting.
get the muzzle back.
Leslie,
Okay,
let's,
honey?
For you.
Meryl, how do I do it? Okay, thank you.
Okay, now I mentioned that we have to add some lemon juice to prevent this from going, from discoloring. So I've got some lemon juice in this container, which I've squeezed in advance, and I'm adding 2 tablespoons. I will taste it just to make sure, you know, what it tastes like, whether I need to add some more or whether that is sufficient. I'm just going to mix this up again. And then the last item that we're going to add is the yogurt. And that is a cup of yogurt. I like using the 2%. I find the 5% is too rich, and the 0% has just got almost no flavor. So if you just take a regular cup measure, and you know, this yogurt's delicious with honey, for breakfast, or it's just good for cooking with as well. And once again, for the you know, people who are lactose intolerant, if you didn't add this yogurt, it really would make no difference, because you can all see the wonderful texture of the soup. So you would enjoy it with or without the yogurt. So lastly, we're going to put this in. And then always just scrape the sides because I can see I've still got little bits of avocado and a little bit of the yogurt that is stuck on the side. Now I'm going to taste all on my lonesome. Sorry, I can't offer you any. If you were in front of me, we'd all be having a feast. It's actually delicious. But I'm going to add just another little splash of lemon juice. Just probably another tablespoon. And I'm going to add some freshly ground black pepper. Does anybody know, I'm sure you all know, how do we ripen avocados? Any thoughts?
No.
Yep, you put it in a bag of flour for a day and it will be, it'll ripen.
Bag of flour.
Yep, put it, or in a brown paper bag, but even in flour.
Who added that? Who was speaking there?
That's Ruth Tepper. That's Ruth Tepper talking.
Oh, Ruth. Oh, thank you, Ruth.
Yeah.
Okay. And I see Brenda's message to say a brown paper bag. Yeah, which is also correct. What you can do if you're really desperate and you're entertaining and the guests are already here and you cut the avocado and it's absolutely hard, you can take some boiling water and you can soak it in boiling water and that softens it. And then this is my own way of doing it. You take the avocado and you take a double sheet of roller towel of Bounty, which you wet with cold water. And then you wrap the avocado in it and then you pop it in the microwave for a minute. But you've got to be very careful and watch it all the time because if you overdo it, it's going to explode. But if you get it perfect, then the avo won't be warm and it will really be soft. And of course, that's the very best way to cook corn as well, is in wet towel, with wet paper, corn on the cob in the microwave. Then you don't use water or steam or anything, you just use the microwave. I'm just going to mix this up. Where is the lid of the... wanted to put some more. I added some of the black pepper.
So if you do that with the avocado, does it taste as good?
It does. You mean with the microwave?
Yeah, or if it wasn't ripe yet and you kind of force it to be ripe.
Perfectly, because Meryl, the paper and the skin protects the inside. But the reason you've got to be careful is you've got the pip inside. So if you do it for too long, it's going to explode.
Okay,
so
thank you.
You've got to do it for a minute, but kind of like stop it every 20 seconds or so. And there we are. We have 2 soups for lunch and nobody to eat it. So let me just dish up some of this so that you can see it. And then I'll flip the camera. You can see it's a wonderful consistency considering that I have just made this. So you would always make it in advance. So just to go back to the picture that I mentioned, let me just do, can you see if I flip it now? if I put it down there, you can see it. That's kind of like half the bowl. You can see the consistency. So it would be very pretty if you then added the tomato soup on the other side. So that is the avo.
Faye, if you were just serving the avo, how would you garnish it?
Yes. So once again, with whatever herbs you had, you can also, if the guests enjoy red onion, or you can manage to get hold of some garlic flowers or something like that, you could also put that inside. I could cut a few strips of the onion and add that as a garnish. I mean, you could do something like that. That would also improve the look. And then when you store it in the refrigerator, the first thing you do is you add all the pips. Where did I put my pips? Here they are. So you throw the pips. Let me just flip this. You put the pips into the container, and then I'm going to pour the soup into the container and then cover it with a lid. And you can see it's a lovely consistency. And even though you've added the hot stock, it's not really warm. You know, there's enough cold ingredients to make it cold. So you don't have to even prepare it several days in advance. And then when you take it out of the refrigerator, it's just important to give it a good stir, even if you think it has discolored a little bit at the top. I'll just move this away and show you what that looks like. You can see it in the bowl. And just going back to the ripening of the avocado again with a paper bag, you can also put a banana or an apple into the packet, and that will also ripen it quicker. So let me just check the recipes with you. I think we've got everything. We've done everything. Any questions, ladies, or anything you'd like to ask me? Oh, thanks, Amy, for your message.
Valerie, did Faye answer your question? How long does it take to cook the corn in the microwave? Is that what you asked? You have to unmute.
Audrey. Sorry, Valerie, what was your question? Unmute yourself, Valerie. Unmute your iPad, your microphone. You've got a little line through your microphone, just unmute it.
Yeah, I don't have access to do it. I'm sorry.
You've got to do it yourself.
Yeah, I would. help
And next to your name, Valerie, there's a little red mic. Just press it.
I don't think she gets it.
Valerie, phone me. Phone me.
You can put it in the chat, Valerie, your question, but anyway, I'm sorry we can't hear Valerie.
Do you want to put, I think she'll figure it out.
Okay. Do you want to?
Next to your name is a microphone, Valerie. Just take that line away. Let me get my.
Okay, you want to continue, and I'll private chat her.
Okay, I'm done, Robin. I'm done.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Unless there are any questions.
No, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. This was really nice, Faye.
Thank you, Faye. It was excellent.
Thank you. Sorry about the hiccups in the beginning.
No, that's fine.
being
And I
able
couldn't,
to
and
see.
honestly, I've had the avocado and the heirloom tomatoes soup at Faye, and I've had them mixed together, and they were absolutely superb. So
Thanks, Brenda.
Thank you so much for making these recipes for us. We can only begin to try to copy your expertise.
It's
Yes.
only a pleasure. And anytime you need any recipes, just email me. My email is Faye, F-A-Y, @faylewis.com.
So much.
It looks delicious. Thank you so much for, I feel like I learned more than just about these recipes.
Oh, good, good, good. I'm happy. I'm happy. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I think I'm just going, I don't want to leave Valerie in the lurch. Just give me 1 second, please.
Well, I'm saying goodbye too,
I'm
but
saying goodbye. I'm saying goodbye. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
It
Take
was
care.
wonderful. Thank you.
thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
It was a
thank you.
wonderful morning, a wonderful way.
A
of-
pleasure, pleasure. Let me just phone
Great.
Valerie and see if she picks up.